Well, thank you very much. Even if I didn't understand a word, the sound was nice. Thank you. Well, listening to the sweet words another time of my ambassador, it was a shame for me, you know. When I was a foreign minister, it has been impossible for Christophe Bigot to be so kind with his minister. But now, I'm saying as a civilian society man, and thank you very much, Christophe. Listening to you, I discovered, or I was remembering the magnitude of our efforts. Every day during 4 years, close to 4 years, we were working with you, with the Israeli citizen, with the Palestinian, if I may say so, citizen, without a state, and with our friends in charge of this eternal path to peace, eternal problems going to peace. And I want to thank you, Yossi, and to thank you, Saeb, deeply. Because I remember, of course, Yasser Bedrabo must be also quoted because he was the counterpart of Yossi. And I remember this particular day of December 2003. Do you remember that? It was a fantastic day. The triumph of wise people, hope, the building of a real future. We were completely convinced that we were on the verge of peace and setting up a Palestinian state. Another time. And now we are, some 8 or 7 years after, on the path to September. This is deeply back, in a way. But that is our common experience and our common task and duty, to go to September with a new hope. And I want to underline just some little points. Of course, since a long time I understand that the problem of Israel citizen, is not only to fight and to fight since a long time, but this problem of the word of security. Security. What does it mean, security? In fact, it is not only the problem of incident, war, difficult time, facing all around this country, this nation, enemies, but more personal, more familial notion, more existential notion of security for the Jews. And this is very difficult to explain to the people. There is a permanent threat in the heart of the Israeli citizen. Is it enough to refuse peace? I don't think so, but this is an element, very particular element here around. So I perceived that several times as an activist and also as a doctor all over. And I was involved in all the conflict since 73. So this is an element, but this is not a reason to be opposed to peace. This is a fantastic element, a sort of irrational, permanent irrational, and rational, and personal. But it is not the only answer to the refusal, the permanent refusal. When we were all along these 4 years I was, as a foreign minister of France, involved in, not every day, but every week certainly, to the progress. Because there was progress. And I remember the famous duo in between Ehud Olmert and Abu Mazen, in between Tzipi Livni and Abu Ala. And I remember what was the work of Yossi and Yasser. Everything has been done. Everything is written down in the Z'neva initiative. So this is a sort of going to September is going back to Geneva, not with the same condition, with an additional burden, with an additional difficulty, etc. But this is still living in the hope, this day of December, still living. Let's come back to that. Let's offer to the youngster, to the Israelis, to read that document. It's a very big document in a way, but a very simple hope. Is it so difficult to be in favor of a Palestinian state? Isn't it a precondition of having security for Israel? Who is against? Not the people of Israel, not the people in Palestine. Certainly not. This is a political problem, and certainly very oftenly an internal problem, an internal political problem.